Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the civil war taking place inside of the former state of Ethiopia. And today, we can report that there is still very heavy fighting going on within the confines of all fronts taking place in the region, especially in the southeastern sector towards Waldea, and then obviously in the north as well along the shared Tigray-Eritrean border. Now, as I talked about in other episodes, in terms of the Tigrayan Defense Forces, we are really seeing a mixed use of its forces. We are seeing both conventional operations being conducted by the Tigrayan Defense Forces, and then at the same time, we are seeing unconventional operations as well. So, in areas such as the south, towards Waldea, closer to Lalibela and other areas, we are seeing more or less a conventional operation by the Tigrayan Defense Forces taking place. In the north, we see more interdispersed operations. We see both conventional operations with battalion size groupings, regimental size groupings of Tigrayan Defense Forces. And then we see unconventional operations as well, engaging the Eritrean army on the ground, both inside of the Tigray region, but also inside of Eritrea as well. Right now, the Eritrean army has not been able to move inside of the Tigray region. The only areas that we have seen any sort of what could be defined as success by the joint forces of the Abiy loyalists and the Eritrean army was near Shiraro. And again, that is very flat land, and it's very conducive to some of the military capabilities that the Eritrean and Abiy loyalist militaries have, i.e. motorization, tanks, heavy artillery, what have you. But they do not have an unlimited supply of those resources either. This is not the same war as what we saw in late 2020. Both sides have been degraded from its past occupation of the Tigray region and the ensuing battles that took place, especially the battles that took place in the Tenbian region and just outside of the Tenbian region, as the Eritrean army was defeated inside of Tigray, as were the Abiy loyalists. Now, right now, again, they did try to penetrate along three areas of northern Tigray: Rama Front, another route towards Zalambasa, the most direct route towards Mekelle. But at the same time, this can be one of the most challenging routes as well because of the nature of the terrain. If we zoom in here and we kind of get a good look at the terrain we are looking at, incredibly challenging for any sort of motorized operation, especially when you're dealing with a fully mobilized army now, which is the Tigrayan Defense Forces, that is engaging these hostile forces. Again, at the onset of hostilities in 2020, just under 10,000 Tigrayan Defense Forces had been mobilized. Right now, well over 200,000. And many of these routes into the Tigray region have been prepared in terms of defensive operations. So you see these mountainous terrains, these massive terrain features. Much of this area is now fortified. And furthermore, there have been planned operations set up by the Tigrayan Defense Forces that would essentially allow Eritrean and Abiy loyalist forces into certain parts of Tigray, at which time they would then be enveloped, trapped, and destroyed in zone. They may believe, meaning they, the Eritrean army or the Abiy loyalist army or the Amhara regional militias, in the case of some recent operations that took place near a DRK, seizing control of a DRK and then moving north, they believed that they had found some success in approaching May Semre. However, they soon found out that they were then being enveloped in an unconventional manner by Tigrayan Defense Forces. And as we know now, Tigrayan Defense Forces have pushed back and now have surrounded DRK and other areas inside of the northern Amhara region. But right now, again, there has just not been a lot of territorial changes. I would expect at some point we could possibly see a counterattack by the Tigrayan Defense Forces into Eritrea proper. I know that one would say that because the Tigrayan Defense Forces have established a southern front, have progressed, let's see here, from the Tigrayan border down towards Weldia, roughly where they're at right now is about 44 kilometers. I mean, not a great distance, nothing compared to what we saw in the earlier campaigns where they had progressed in excess of 170 kilometers into the Amhara region and were setting up the possibility of making an advance on Addis Ababa. However, that did not occur. So I would not rule out, again, the capability is there. We saw multiple operations before where the Tigrayan Defense Forces advanced deep into the Amhara region and conducted operations in the Afar region as well. So you cannot rule out the possibility that the Tigrayan Defense Forces could mount offensive operations inside of Eritrea. It is not outside the realm of possibility. The manpower is there. Is the equipment there? Is the supplies there? Unsure at this point. Obviously, we have seen indications where many of these TDF units are fully equipped, and there seems to be no issue with ammunition or supplies, and then most importantly, is the motivation of the fighting forces. The Tigrayan Defense Forces have been maintaining a very motivated fighting force over the course of the last 2 years as this has been going on. Whereas the Abiy loyalist forces, especially in this, what you could only call maybe the third go-around, is a force that is simply not motivated. A force that is surrendering on contact. Maybe they go into contact and then surrender, but we do know there are thousands and thousands of ENDF personnel that are now POWs inside of the Tigray region, and we're not seeing the same sort of surrender on contact by the Tigrayan Defense Forces when it comes to their prisoners of war. The prisoners that have been taken by the ENDF are minuscule when compared, and you look at the amount of prisoners that have been taken by the Tigrayan Defense Forces in this continued war that we're seeing. But that is pretty much it for today. We're watching this very, very closely. Again, we are trying to ascertain some more information from some insiders who are very, very close to the situation on the ground. Very, very difficult to obtain information in this conflict. So very, very challenging circumstance to acquire this information. But that's where we're at. Again, thank you as always for joining us today. We will have more very, very soon. And again, have a great day. Again, thank you again for joining us, and more to come soon. Have a good day.